that Nas put up in regards to Kelis and him speaking his truth for the first time since they have officially broken up. Nas went over some things that I think a lot of men who have children can relate to. Being with a woman, breaking up with a woman. You have a child with her, and she basically will withhold the child from you in order to get something from you, either it be money or it could be to get into another relationship with them again, which Nas talked about. I'm gonna read the first post, but then y'all can go and check out the other, because it was a 6-parter, I think almost 7 parts. I think it was 7 parts to this entire message. The Shade Room had a bunch of the they had screenshot a bunch of the posts and they reposted them. But the one problem I had with the response to the post, now I'm going to give you my take on the post. Again, I think Nas was very honest. He came off as honest. I think he was vulnerable. I think that he really wants to be around his son more. He talked about how he got back into a relationship with Kelis because that's the only way he could be around his son. He talked about how violent she was verbally and physically. She even tried to attack him recently when he tried to get his son, and he said that her stepfather had to hold her back. Kelis has always came off as crazy to me. Even when she first gained success, she seems to be a very much so a narcissist. She's the type of woman who can put on a front, but if you really know her, you'll see a completely different person. That's why when she did that interview, she did that interview at home because she knew that she wouldn't be able to perpetrate her lies, in a neutral environment. She didn't go to the studio to talk to do that interview. She did it at home where she felt comfortable. She was in a comfort zone. And you can't really trust people who are sitting in a comfort zone talking about other people and making accusations. I think Nas came off as very believable. He also talked about how she was abusive, I believe he said verbally, to his daughter from another woman. He talked about how she physically would attack him. He just came off as very believable. Even though when people listen to Kelis lying in her interview, I'm not saying everything she said was a lie, but the fact that she made it seem like, when she left Nas because he was the drunk, he was the abuser, then she went across the country to get away from him, but then you get back into a relationship with him. You tried to, and I think she did, sabotage his relationship with Nicki Minaj. And when a lot of women aren't over you, when they still want to sleep with you, when they still want to be in a relationship with you, they're going to try to ruin every relationship you get into. And don't get married to a new woman. My God. She's really going to be crazy. And this woman has moved on. She's gotten remarried. I believe she's also had another child. If I'm wrong, you can tell me in the comment section. I just believe that she's somebody who's a control freak. She's a control freak. She wants to control everybody around her. No one walks away from her. Nas walked away from her, even though she claims she left her. That she left him. Now, let's look at this post. All right. In this post, this is part 1 by Nas on Instagram. It says, "The price I paid to see my son. And apologies in advance for the typos, as I am speaking from the heart as a man who has had enough. Today I got a call from Essence about my ex-wife doing another sad, fictitious story. Nothing surprises me anymore, including this. This is what your life has come to, sis. Exploiting some people's real struggle and pain just to get at me, to get attention, fame, another fight against men. We are a human family and we should be better examples for our son. Why is there even an issue for me to have time with my son? A son needs his father. So many absentee fathers out here, and here I am being attacked by your accusations simply because I got us in court to help fix this custody matter. Why did I have to take you to court to see our son? Why, when I win the joint custody, which is a win for both of us and our son, it helps us with both our schedules, why do you feel that's an attack on you? Is it control? Why do you need to have control over my life? Because we're not together? Then why? Is this being rewarded and praised by people who are being taken advantage of by you and your lies? To all separated couples out there who are cordial and co-parent nicely, good for you. I wish that was me. I'm the most chill, cool parent there is. Who has time to argue? What about? About what? It's about our little guy. You haven't had to deal with what I've been dealing with. Trust me. I'm a mild-mannered, God-fearing, very fair human being who tries his hardest to please everyone. It's my nature. I've seen this too many times before, and there was times I thought Kelis, my ex-wife, was not this type. This is the type of antics that deceive people, and people mistakenly call it strong. Seems I always had more belief in you than you do for yourself. I instill strength in my daughter, who you were already so jealous of and treated poorly, being jealous and verbally abusive to a little girl. Now that's the first post, and I'll link to the other post so y'all can read it for yourself. You know, one of the things, again, I actually saw this on the Shade Room. That's where I originally saw this post, and what I noticed, there were a lot of people complaining about the post and how long the post was. Now, this was a long post. This was part one. There were 7 parts of this. And these black people, a lot of them will claim to be educated. A lot of them will talk about how many advanced degrees they have and how intelligent they are. But they are complaining about the length of the post. This is exactly why that people are become so controlled, because they view everything visually. They view the world in a visual manner. They do not do any reading. They don't do any research. People try to make fun of the way that I read sometimes. When I'm reading this live, at least I attempt and try, and I most of the times am successful at reading and pronouncing words. Okay? But the people in the comment section was complaining about having to read. That lets you know everything.
Dinner. It's more than just a meal you make every night. It's a chance to slow down and catch your breath, to be fully present in the moment. Today, we'll show you how easy it is to practice mindfulness as you cook by focusing on your 5 senses. You can do this with any HelloFresh recipe. What do you see? Notice how the water bubbles, how the pasta softens and slowly sinks to the bottom. Do you hear anything? What does it sound like? What do you smell? Can you smell each ingredient in the sauce? Parmesan? Garlic? Take a deep breath and feel the air fill up your lungs. Great work. It's time to treat yourself. How's it taste? Try to enjoy all the different textures of each bite and how it all comes together. Here's to a better, more mindful dinner routine in 2021.
Go to HelloFresh.com and use code YT14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping.
Thing you need to know about society today. You got a bunch of grown people who probably have children complaining about reading. This is exactly why the mainstream media is able to control and manipulate narratives, because you have a bunch of people who are controllable because they look but they really don't listen. You know what I'm saying? They don't do any research. They see what is going on and they take it as face value. So if they would have read this post, instead of complaining, why don't you just read half of it, some of it, to get an understanding of what's going on? But people in the comment section are talking about summarizing and all that. These are grown people, okay? Black people. Very embarrassing that you got a bunch of black people who refuse to read, and you wonder why we are in the condition that we're in. So I don't want any of those people doing my paperwork, okay? I don't want any, because they'll never read the paperwork. They'll never make sure everything is done correctly, because they don't even want to read. And back to what he was saying. That was a lot in just one post. And I have to commend Nas, because I believe she's going to be doing another interview, probably at home, and she's trying to defame this guy, all because he no longer wants to deal with her. I'm not saying that Nas is 100% right in this, because he even said in his post that he participated in the arguing, back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Petty, childish, couple things that couples go through. But he also said that Kelis was verbally abusive to the people around them. And he said that if it wasn't for them signing non-disclosure agreements, they would all say the same things that he's saying. And I can believe that, because she has never mentioned any of that. She's told these vague stories and been very vague about her situation with Nas, but she hasn't been real honest. I think that there's a screw loose there with Kelis. He said that the reason why he got that close to her to marry her was because he was at a very vulnerable time in his life. He had lost his mother. He was at a very vulnerable point. And I believe that Kelis was there at that particular moment, and he clung on to her, which he probably regrets now, because he's probably never been in a relationship with a woman like this. I'm pretty sure Nas has had plenty of relationships that have been low-key out of the spotlight, But I just I don't like how the media just ran with this narrative that Nas was abusive. Like, they just could not wait to write the stories. They could not wait to, we had people who couldn't wait to make videos talking about Nas abusive, how can you do this? It's like people were taking what she said as the truth. But how can you trust a woman who can't even do an interview and look you in the eyes, who's doing an interview at home, who's married to another man, but still wants to be in a relationship with her ex? Because Nas is being successful without her. Nas is doing very well for himself. I think Nas is going to continue to do well for himself, despite what she may say or what she may do. Nas is very business savvy, and he's very intelligent. He's taking care of his money. He's also still taking care of other people in his family. But he's a guy who wants to have more of an opportunity to be around his son, and you wonder why men are going their own way. You wonder why men no longer want to get married or be in relationships or even have children, because they don't want to have to get into a situation where a woman is keeping their child away from them. You can't judge all women just how they look or how they may talk to you when you first meet them, because people do change once they get comfortable in a situation. It's how a person responds when they are comfortable that will show you a lot about who they are. This woman got into a relationship with Nas, she got married to Nas, and she showed Nas exactly who she was. And I have to commend Nas for keeping up the fight, because most men would have, gave up trying to fight their baby's mother for, for custody or just to be able to see him. I don't understand why these courts don't enforce custody. They enforce child support, but they don't enforce custody, and that is sad to me. So y'all let me know in the comment section below, and let me know your thoughts.
That's why we not down there doing all of that fighting, what they want to say. we preserving life, and we're going to continue to do that.